Welcome to another episode of On the Call with Jake Marsh. My name is Jake Marsh, and ladies and gentlemen, we have an absolutely electric episode for you today. It is the one, the only J.J. Watt. That's right, the future Hall of Famer takes some time with me that I'm really grateful for. I really appreciate JJ taking time out of his incredibly busy schedule. We got into his first year in the booth for CBS with Iron Eagle. We got into some of his side projects, some of his future appearances on television, including being a guest shark on Shark Tank, interactions with the one and only Darren Rovell. Yes, that guy, but I'm appreciative for that guy. More on that a little bit later. But one little housekeeping note before we get into the episode regarding the interview, a little peek behind the curtain for you loyal watchers and listeners. This was recorded last Thursday, a day before the news broke that J.J. Watt would be filling in for Tony Romo, who's on indefinite leave from CBS for the top team with Jim Nantz and Tracy Wolfson. So did not obviously ask about that because it wasn't news yet. So this was recorded on Thursday. The news broke on Friday. So I still asked JJ about his great endeavors with Iron Eagle, and who knows, they might be paired back together at some point later this season. And I think it's still a great listen, that part of the interview. But this interview was recorded before that news broke. So just a heads up, if you're wondering why I didn't ask it, there's a reason why I didn't ask it, because nobody knew at the time, or maybe JJ did, but that goes besides the point, that was actually taking place. So it was an awesome interview. I really hope you enjoy. And of course, we'll wrap up the show with our recurring segments of That's Wild of the Week and Tip of the Cap. All right, let's not waste any more time. It is time for another episode of On the Call with Jake Marsh. Here we go.
It's caught! Touchdown! It's time to dance! Oh my goodness! Gloves are off! 7 for 3! Bang! Oh, that is swatted away! Shefflin brings the boom! This is Huff. A step back 3! Oh yeah! The shot of a lifetime! Barstool Sports! Arizona Bowl champions! It's good! It's over! He got it! He got it! He got it! It's 6!
Hello, folks. Today is Tuesday, August 4th, and once that calendar turns to August, man, oh man, you can feel the football coming. We have the Hall of Fame game this week. The NFL preseason officially gets underway. All 32 teams are in camp. My Dynasty Fantasy League rookie draft is officially taking place right now. I know nobody cares about other people's fantasy teams, but when people are drafting, that's when you know things are getting real. So as mentioned, right before the theme song played, J.J. Watt, but it was recorded on Thursday before the breaking news regarding his promotion to the number one CBS team took place. So obviously did not touch that subject. But for those of you watching on YouTube, also shout out to all you YouTubers. I really appreciate the spike in views the last two episodes with Jim Boeheim and John Gruden. So I really appreciate that coming. Please subscribe, please like, please comment, please share. The more people that put their eyeballs on this thing, obviously the better. So I really appreciate that. But those on YouTube right now probably noticed that I'm in my Syracuse Game Day Collection Rowback shirt. And I've been partnered with Rowback for about 1.5 years right now. And while they're a great partner of mine on the social side, I wanted to give them a quick shout out here on this podcast. They just launched 10 more collections for 10 more schools. They have over 75 schools in their game day collection, and now is the perfect time to get in on the action. So that's what? Roughly half of the FBS teams just in time for football season. The majority of the Power 5 are covered. There's even some group of 5 teams covered. So go to rowback.com, and please, if you're making a purchase, use the code of my link in my bio on any of my social accounts. If you can't find it, just DM me on any social account. I check my DMs daily, and I can send you that code. But if you click on that link in my bio, you'll get 20% off of your order. So that is huge. So don't miss out. There are 75 teams that have rowback gear on sale, and football's coming, and you want to be in your rowback gear. So thank you to Rowback, the absolute best. They are my favorite. If you ask anybody in my inner circle, they can vouch for me. I wear Rowback literally every single day. They didn't ask me to do this on the podcast, but I needed to give them a shout out, and I'm happy for them for building even bigger and bigger. And I'm happy and honored to be along for the ride. Anyways, all right, JJ Watt, what a time this was. I hope you all enjoy. We cover anything and everything, and I'm looking forward to your feedback. So here we go. It is Jake Marsh and JJ Watt on the Call with Jake Marsh. All right, the wait is over. It is now time to welcome on a spectacular guest. He is a future Hall of Famer, a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, the 2017 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, 5-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, minority owner of Burnley FC, and of course, analyst for CBS Sports. It's JJ Watt. I feel like the first tee announcer at the end of Tiger's career when everyone's just like, all right, get on with it. But you deserve all those accolades and shout-outs, and thank you so much, JJ, for taking the time.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me, Jake. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. So the basis of this show is about athletes, coaches, and broadcasters and their media career, right? And you obviously are coming off of your number one with CBS in what I thought, and I'm not just glazing you, a lot of people agreed, was an incredible rookie season, right? A lot of people, as in the NFL, there are not many rookies who have breakout seasons right out of the gate. It's a process. It takes some time, but they threw you in with Iron Eagle, one of the best of the best, and you had a fantastic season. How would you reflect on year one now that it's all said and done?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think you just mentioned part of the reason it was so successful is Iron Eagle and everybody else on our incredible team. But Iron is one of one. He's one of the best in the business. He's incredible to work with. He's a great friend. He's so smart and witty and quick. But then everybody, I mean, Ken Mack, Suzanne Smith, everybody on our entire team are just incredible. And they've welcomed me in. And the beauty of it is all of us are just pushing towards one thing, the best possible broadcast we can put on. And so anything that I didn't know or needed to learn quickly, they were catching me up to speed on, and I could bring things from my experience and playing days and everything that they may not have known. So we put it all together, and every Sunday we had a whole lot of fun, and it was a blast.
When CBS first approached you with this opportunity, how much did you know about the ins and outs of a live game broadcast?
Not a ton. So coming out, when I was playing, I've said this many times before, but I did not think that I would want to be an analyst in any capacity. I thought I would hate it. I thought I wouldn't enjoy it. I looked at all like the negative sides of it, and I was like, that's never going to be for me. And then I ended up, after my career, I was like, man, I love football. Like, I love football, and not being around it's going to be really hard. So then I kind of eased my way in with a part-time studio gig and had a lot of fun with that. And then you start to look in, they brought me the opportunity for the booth. And I was like, Ian is special. I would love the chance to work with Ian. Being in stadiums is special. I think one thing that was big for me was when we took the studio show on the road and we were back around stadiums and around the crowds. And I was like, I missed this. And I knew the booth could provide that. But then there's this whole bunch of stuff that you learn throughout the season, from, Telestrator to the different camera angles, and everything on a week to week just continued to get better and better.
Yeah, and I've mentioned this once or twice on the show, but I am a Syracuse grad, and one of the big reasons why myself and a lot of younger kids choose Syracuse is the alumni base, right? And Iron Eagle, of course, is one of those names towards the top of the list. I know you say, yes, he's a professional, yes, he's the best of the best. What is it about working with him on a weekly basis that makes him in that tier one status?
Yes, I would say there's a few things. So number one, he's obviously a veteran of the game, and he knows what he wants out of a broadcast. And he is very, very good at working with everybody, but having a vision for what it needs to look like. And that could be anything from setting an overall narrative for a game to, throughout the course of the game, maybe if you're starting to lose your way a little bit, getting back on track, or coming out of commercial, that we had this idea, and I might be like, that doesn't mesh because we just had an injury. And so we don't want to come out of an injury talking about this. It's very serious. all of that type of stuff. And then it's just the regular little things of the professionalism. I mean, he is an immediate texter back, which I am myself and I love and I'm thankful for. He is a guy who's going to show up on time. If you call him, he's going to answer and you're going to talk about anything at any time. He is just the consummate professional and he is doing everything. He is doing Nets games. He's doing Jets preseason games. He's doing NFL. He's doing Amazon basketball, and he never misses anything. I mean, we had a game last year where he called an NBA game. I think it was the Cup final in Vegas at like 7 p.m. local time. Called the game, got on a plane, and was in Foxborough for our New England game the next day, ready to roll. And I'm like, this man's just a pro.
Yeah, it's absolute grit. And that's one thing I appreciated about you when we were scheduling this is how quick you were in the response. And I can respect that because I like to do the same thing. Those people who have 19,782 unread text messages, I don't know how they do it. So we're on the same page there.
There's two different people, and I'm on team empty inbox. Like, get it out of my head. I can't handle it.
Yeah, one notification, get it out, and it can't build up. So I appreciated that. What would you say the biggest surprise in your first season was in the booth?
The biggest surprise for me was how much I enjoyed it by far. But I would say a more technical answer and things that you probably want to hear is, so my boards, I would say boards is a big thing. So I came in and I did the Netflix game 2 years ago for Christmas. And so I created my board for that. And I had 4 full pages, extra wide, fully prepared. I mean, notes upon notes upon notes. And as you know from broadcasting, I used about 10% of them, which is a good sign because that means the game did the talking for you. So I went into this season already starting to pare it back a little bit, but my boards from the beginning of the season to the end of the season changed so much, not necessarily in quantity, but just what I put on them. Because it used to be every single guy's college, every single guy's height and weight. And it was like, I realized I never talk about this in the game because nobody cares about this. I needed the quotes. I needed the anecdotes. I needed the little stories. And so I completely transformed my board by the end of the season.
And if anything, that information is useful, but Ian would be the one using it anyway
Exactly.
he's describing it. So you guys have different roles, so it's different information. And yeah, he still handwrites everything, right? I remember him being old school like that.
Yes, so I've taken the tip from him actually because I really like the way that he does. He has 2 different things and he kind of does his on the back of a manila folder. But so on one side, he just goes by number. And then every single number has the guys, as opposed to having the positional chart. So I have the positional chart because that's, as a football guy, that's kind of where my brain sees it. He just goes by number because then it's very easy. So this upcoming season, I'm going to have my positional and by number just because, and with little stories from their life. The football one will be all their football stuff. And this side is going to be the life, like more narrative type stuff.
Yeah, and I think people are surprised when they hear you do all this work and you end up only using 10 to 15% max, but that's what we need, right? Because every coaching staff prepares for the third string quarterback just in case, so you don't know if somebody's going to get hurt, and it's just as important to have information on the third string than it is the starter.
And it's just like every teacher in school told you growing up, like you're going to learn the information from learning it, and as opposed to the actual exam. Like you learn it so well throughout the week from preparing your notes, putting it on your board and everything that you don't even look at your board because you've got it all memorized.
Totally. I would ask you some of your favorite highlights from year one, but I think you know where I'm going here. There's got to be a clear 1-1, and it's got to be the one in Chicago, Steelers and Bears, with your brother TJ passing yourself on the all-time sacks list. That's got to be up there. I know it's your first year broadcasting, but it's going to be hard to beat that, right?
Yeah, it was very, very special to be in the booth for that moment. All year long, obviously we had a bunch of Steelers games, we had a bunch of Texans games, so always trying to make sure that you're objective and doing everything the right way, and sometimes even going too far to make it seem that. But that was one moment where I was like, I think people are going to understand in this exact moment, I'm going to be excited. And it was, Ian does an incredible job also of kind of taking those moments off me, knowing the situation. But that is a moment that our family will have forever for sure.
Yeah, I'll throw the clip in here so people can listen back. But I think it was something along the lines of, now the leader in the household.
Watt will get credit for the sack on the QB and the forced fumble.
I mean, if he's going to pass my record, that's one hell of a way to do it. With a strip sack causing a touchdown. Good for you, TJ.
He is now the Watt family all-time sacks leader.
Because it's supposed to be fun, right? I've had so many people on here who are saying, you don't need to take this job too seriously.
Right.
Yes, it's all business. Yes, you're wearing a suit and you need to have a good broadcast, but people are spending their Sundays. This is what they look forward to when they're at their cubicles all week, to watch you guys put on this game, because that's what matters most in their life.
Exactly. And my I think many people use this philosophy, but my philosophy is like, yes, I need to bring my experience, professionalism, and expertise from playing, but also, what would I say if I was sitting with my buddies on the couch? Like, because that's what everybody's doing. They're sitting at home watching the game with their buddies, shooting the breeze, and they don't want to hear me talking some like crazy technical jargon when they just want to shoot the shit with their friends. And so you have to mesh those two things together. But yeah, that moment was a cool one. My parents were there. My other brother, Derek, and his family were there. My uncle was there. Like, it was a special moment.
Yeah, full circle for sure, and certainly wild. So that's awesome to see.
Yeah.
I think my version of the Augusta green jacket is one day wearing the CBS jacket with the I logo. You'll probably have another jacket, maybe a gold one in Canton in a couple of years, but putting on that jacket, did it feel like, holy crap, I'm really doing this. This is for real. This is big time.
Yeah, I mean, you step into that booth, you put on the jacket, and it's like, all right, this is the real deal. And you're sitting next to Ian, and you hear his voice. I mean, after having heard it for all those years, like, it is cool. It is special. And everybody at CBS has been unbelievable to me from the time I started all the way back to the interview process when we were trying to figure out where to go after my career. CBS has done an incredible job of making it feel like family, and I'm very fortunate. David Burson, Ross Malloy, everybody involved has been fantastic. Really just a lot of great people to work with. And I even in the studio, my 2 years there, I had a blast and some great memories. JB, Coach Cower, Nate, all the guys, like, some really good times.
Yeah, the depth and the talent from top to bottom, not only in football, in every sport. I'm going to have John Rothstein on the show in a little bit. I had Andrew Cattle on. Like, it's just, you guys, it's really impressive how deep and talented their roster is. So it's so cool to be part of that. I've been able to freelance for CBS here and there, but working with the people you get to work with, it must be so cool.
I enjoy looking at your stuff, man. I told you in the messages, but I loved watching your behind the scenes of what a day looks like for you and getting your boards ready, printing them, because I do similar stuff. I mean, it may be on a slightly different level. I don't actually go to the local FedEx office to print, or the Staples to print mine. We have a printer in the room, thankfully, but there's a lot of similarities, and I think a lot more similarities than people realize, even at this level. So I've really enjoyed your videos, and I appreciate the content there.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. So steering off from the broadcasting stuff for a little bit, about you as a person, the J.J. Watt Foundation, I wanted to bring that up because I know it's so important to you, and I know you guys have raised millions of dollars to schools and athletic programs, and growing the game is such a cliche term, but what you're doing is not only growing the game, but helping people who wouldn't be able to play the game, period, if not for your help. So what are some of your favorite memories from putting that together and seeing how it's grown so much?
Yeah, it's been really cool over the years. I mean, obviously during my playing career, the events that we put on to raise the money were awesome, but then it evolved so much that we had people coming back who were kids that have benefited from the foundation, and they came to watch or tell their stories, and it's been really special. And we're in over 42 states now, nationwide, and like you said, millions of dollars donated, and it's been really cool to see kids all over the country wearing uniforms or wrestling on mats or playing football wearing helmets that were provided by the generosity of all the people and donors who've helped us out. My whole life is built because of sports, and I know how fortunate that I was growing up to have the opportunity, and not everybody gets those same opportunities. So for us to be a little bit of a helping hand in providing kids that opportunity is all we can ask.
Yeah, you're putting it lightly because it's been a big help to a lot of people, and it's cool to see anytime I see a story or a clip going around on social. That's really cool. Something more in current events, with the World Cup just finishing, I know you went to the final in New York City, but there was a viral story picked up about Freddie. Freddie, the German Twitter phenomenon. I know there's theories around him whatsoever, but you were nice enough when he made a stop in Houston to roll out the red carpet for him, and he posted all about his hotel room and all of that. First question, can you confirm he's a real, genuine person, despite what people are saying that he's an inside job?
He is a real person. I've been watching the whole thing myself, and I completely can see and understand where people are coming from in certain angles. Trust me, I can understand it now. You also have to remember this was at the very beginning. Ours was at like day 3 of his trip. And so I saw he was coming to Houston in like 9 or 10 days, so we had time to plan. So I was like, you know what, let's take care of this. And then it just morphed into something completely different. And I had inquiries coming to me for Freddie, and I'm acting as like a personal assistant, which is crazy. And then like the flight thing to Toronto was crazy because his flight got canceled or delayed. And then all of a sudden I'm here talking to the airlines and talking to pilots. And like they're like, we got the pilot. We're talking, the pilot's going to do this and do that. I'm like, what? I took a second. I was like, what am I doing here? Like, what? I'm sitting here on a Friday. It was actually in the Turks and Caicos talking to an airline pilot just to be like, hey, this guy needs to get to Toronto for some game. It was a wild scenario, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure you've had a couple of agents in your career, then you acted as one for Freddie. It kind of took
No,
off.
it was crazy. And like I said before, to his credit, he turned down many things. And now you can say that adds to the conspiracy, you can say it takes away, but I mean, I personally know of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars that he turned down in opportunities. So I can only imagine throughout the course of his time how much has come his way. And who knows? I mean, I think you just saw he's coming back for like a college football tour. So then you start to be like, all right, dude, do you not have a job? Like, are you just moving here? It's a very interesting scenario, but it was fun. I mean, especially at the beginning, it was a blast to watch and follow along. We were all captured by it.
Yeah, what if he hits you up for some tips on Madison?
I got plenty of those, buddy. We're going to Mickey's Dairy Bar right out of the gate for a beautiful breakfast, cash only. As you already know, it's good. Closes at 2 p.m. You're going to get some. You're going to go to the Old Fashioned for dinner. Get some cheese curds. Get yourself a nice brandy Old Fashioned at the bar. You're going to hit State Street, of course. Probably stop by Wando's for a fish bowl or something, just because you have to get the experience. But I could go on Madison for days. A nice spotted cow on the terrace. Now I'm gonna have to drive up there myself, Jake.
That's totally fine. I've been to Madison a couple of times, and Big Cat, he basically
Yeah.
closed down Wando's for us. It was
Yeah.
really cool going pregame,
Yeah.
and then we stormed the court at the Kohl Center. It was really special.
Yeah.
Another guy on the internet who we have a mutual connection with, I'd say you're more so of a friend of him than I am, is Darren Rovell. And I don't know if you know my backstory of how
I don't, and I would love to hear it.
yeah, so my backstory of really getting my first big break and on the scene in the sports media business is it was the summer of 2019. I had just graduated from Syracuse, and I was listening to Part of My Take, and Big Cat and PFT said they were looking for an intern. No specifications, just looking for an intern. So I just send them an email, hey, here's my experience. I did broadcasting at Syracuse. I'm broadcasting for Vermont basketball, etc. I go in for an interview. Luckily, they found my email and invited me in. They see my suit. They see I'm a Syracuse background. And Big Cat says, how would you like to be our rival to Darren Rovell on social media and be our personal sports business reporter? And without hesitation, I said,
Yeah.
I'm in. So as much as they like to poke fun at Darren Rovell, I have to thank
wanted.
him because he created unknowingly a massive break and put me on the map with one of the top media companies in all of sports media. So that summer I tried to beat him to some scoops, and I did to some, and you could tell it got under his skin. So first off, what is your relationship with Darren like? Because I know there's a mix of making fun of him as well, but also a real friendship.
Yes, there is a mix of both for sure, and we are friends. We are good friends. We talk often, all the time. But I have zero problem whatsoever busting his balls and calling him on his stuff when I think it's funny or cheesy. Which he loves. He loves it. He relishes that, as you know. He's kind of in the any press is good press category, and he's happy to have a debate or a fight with anybody. But we also do some business stuff together because there's been some very successful stuff through Athletic Brewing and Pop-Up Bagels and a lot of good stuff, kickstand or cocktail. So there's been a lot of stuff there. But first and foremost, he has been a very good friend over the years. I know that he got made fun of for it quite a bit at my final game, the way it went down. But he gave me an unbelievably thoughtful gift of every single playing card from my entire career from college to the NFL. Every card I ever had, he had it in a binder for me, which is something that I will hand my kids someday. He does do very special things for people in his life.
Totally. And I think
He's also an odd duck at times.
Oh, of course, and so am I, but he embraces it too, and he doesn't let the hate get to him, so
No.
I respect that out of him. But yeah, that was my next question about the final game and the viral clip about Darren running up and surprising you while there were dozens of special needs kids waiting.
It wasn't the best look at the moment, but it came from a good place.
Yeah, and that type of situation where you don't get the full story, that only happens to Darren Rovell, right?
Yes,
because anybody else, it's there, but it's just putting it on a layup for the silver platter for the haters. That he's running.
PMT is taking that to the moon. Yeah,
he's interrupting an opportunity for these special needs kids who are jumping up and down and waiting for JJ Watt in his final game. Then he just storms in. But of course, as you mentioned, there was a backstory. You had already introduced yourself to those kids 3 or 4 times. But just the fact that it was him that got in the middle of that, social media had fun with it.
That's what you get for being a firecracker. You know, people just want to jump on.
Yeah, totally. Another Darren Rovell story is I have a screenshot from a viral tweet of you ratioing him. It's your training camp credential from 2019 saying you literally want to tackle someone, and you said, that's literally what I get paid to do, Darren. 216,000 likes. That when that came through for you, you had to think, okay, this one's easy too. I'm going viral.
Just no problem, buddy. There's some I'll just every now and then throughout the day I'll just be scrolling, and then you'll see one and you're like, oh, okay, here we go. This is no brainer, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like he's taken a little step back from Twitter a little bit. I haven't seen him getting roasted as much, unless you've seen something different.
No, I think he's been pretty out of it from a debatable standpoint. I think he's very proud of Northwestern Stadium at the moment, which rightfully so. That place, I don't like giving them credit, but man, that place looks awesome. He's deep into the collectibles game, so he's which is not my world at all. So I can't even really interact there. But yeah, he's been a little tamer lately, which means for a fact that in the next 2 weeks there'll be something that he goes off on.
Right, and there's so many people I have on the show where we talk about luck being involved and the openings and all of that. If PMT was looking for a Darren Rovell rival right now, it probably wouldn't be as hot in the streets. That just shows timing and luck is everything, and staying on top of your connections, because yes, 2019 is when he was getting roasted left or right, but right now that's probably not the center of what people are looking to do.
Right. No, and I do have to give him credit, man. The guy works his butt off. He is willing to fly across the country, do whatever's necessary, works many hours. I am impressed by him. He does do a lot of hard work.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I thank him for somehow creating a domino effect to get my first big break on the Madison sports media. I saw that you delivered pizzas for Pizza Hut during your college time. How did that come to be? And looking back now at all of you've accomplished, seeing a domino effect from delivering pizzas across Madison or other schools leading up to today, how would you characterize what that meant in terms of building your character?
Yeah, I mean, so how it came about was I started my career at Central Michigan and I transferred to Wisconsin, but there was a 6-month break in the middle because I left Central Michigan in December after the fall semester, and I wasn't starting in Madison until the summer. So I went back to my hometown of Pewaukee, lived with my parents, and needed a job to literally start paying for school because I had a full-time scholarship, which I gave up to walk on at Madison. And so I was like, I'm going to at least help my parents pay for some of this. So I went to work at Pizza Hut and delivered pizzas, which it's not a bad job at all. You get to drive around in a car, listen to music, deliver pizzas, and then on your break, you can make your own pizza and eat it. It was great. I enjoyed it, especially because I was trying to put on weight. But it's certainly one of those things where I'm sitting there after my freshman my freshman fall semester, and now I'm back in my parents' house. I'm training at home with Brad, my trainer, and I'm working at Pizza Hut. And you do kind of have those moments where you see other kids in your class, working towards their sophomore season and their goals and everything. And you're like, yes, I'm working towards it, but there is a massive amount of uncertainty in my life right now. And so it was a back against the wall mentality where it was like, I have no choice but to make this work. Otherwise, I might be doing this for much longer than 6 months. And so every single day was, how hard can I work in the gym? How can I do everything humanly possible to set myself up for success moving forward? And I basically just gave myself no choice but to find a way to make it work.
And I think that's what's so cool about your story and how people listening to this who aren't pursuing a career in professional football can relate to it, because you can't control when you're drafted. You can't control who's taking a chance on you, but you can control how much you're putting into it. And my dad always says, like, as I'm still looking for my next full-time job in media, just do what you do and stay patient. And the harder you work, the luckier you get. That's the quote that sticks with me. And I feel like it's true no matter what career you're in.
Oh, it's absolutely the truth. And I think that you're doing it exactly right from that standpoint, where you continue to put out quality efforts every single day, all the time. And as long as you're doing everything possible today, you're going to be fine. I think it's when people start to try and get gimmicky, or you try and find like this one thing that's going to take me to the moon. And it's like, no, consistent, great work every single day, day after day after day is what's going to be fine. Yes, maybe this gimmick or one-off is going to get you a pop, but it's not going to be the sustained long-term success. And I think that just continuing to grind every single day, even when it doesn't look like it's going anywhere, that's what really creates long-term success.
100%. I think treating every opportunity with the mindset that I am wearing that CBS jacket in front of 80,000 people in an NFL crowd, and giving every event that much prep will help levitate me for the quality of the tape on there, and for kind of my mindset of I'm going to treat this as if it is my Super Bowl.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's funny you use that phrase, because that's the exact phrase that my dad told me when I was going to Wisconsin as a walk-on. I was going to be on the scout team, obviously, just getting beat up by an All-American O-line every day. And he said, every single practice is your Super Bowl. You literally can't play this year because of the transfer rule, so you're only going to be a scout team player. So your practices are your Super Bowls. And every single day had to be my Super Bowl. And that's ultimately how I ended up getting a scholarship, getting a starting spot, and then obviously everything else that came from it. But I fully agree with you. You have to treat everything. In your case, I'm sure that there's some people, because I've had it myself, that'll make fun of you for trying so hard and trying to do it so perfect and trying to be, trying to act like a CBS A booth announcer when you're not in an A booth. And then they're like, "What? Why are you doing it like that?" Well, because that's where I want to be. I'm not preparing for today. I'm preparing for the role that I want to be in. And so I think you're doing it the right way, and you have to. It's an unfortunate part of our life is that there are certainly people out there who like to make fun of people who try hard.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have been a person who has tried too hard in the past, and I've had to learn to navigate it. But I would much rather be hated on for trying too hard than not get opportunities because I didn't try hard enough.
100%. And there's the critics out there. Obviously, they see it at point blank and they say, oh, Jake moved on from the #1 sports podcast in the world to broadcast games and work his way up. And they're saying, oh, you left PMT to do this? And I'm like, no, I left PMT to get reps. Or I guess,
Right.
Yes, I left PMT to get reps no matter what the level is, with the end goal being putting that jacket on. And I don't care how, obviously I want it to take quicker, but I don't care what
Right.
level it's at, but I'm going to do it no matter what level it's at.
Yeah, and you're grateful for your time there, and it gave you the platform and the ability and the opportunity to do it, and there's no question about it. And yeah, I'm sure you had a blast there, and it was great. But you're gambling on yourself, and you want to take that opportunity for yourself. So there is nothing wrong at all with gambling on yourself and saying, I'm going to prove to myself and to the world that I can do this.
100%. A few more here. Coming up this fall on ABC, you're going to be a guest shark on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I want to hear about that experience and how it must felt. How did it feel saying I'm out for the first time at that chair?
It's funny, man. So I've been watching the show for basically all 17 years. I've been a fan. My wife and I talk about it all the time, every time it's on. I mean, I think all of us at some point have sat there on our couch pretending to be a shark. And so for me to actually walk into the tank and be a guest shark is incredible. And it's so funny because I found myself speaking like they speak just because I watched it so much. So exactly to your point where I said I'm out, the first time I said it, I was like, oh, I sound like I'm on the show. Like, oh, I am on the show. Like you just fall into the, because I even hit him with this one, which I know you know, and for those reasons, I'm out. And like that's not something I would say in normal life nomenclature. Like the only reason I said for those reasons is because I've seen it 1,000 times on the show. So it was hilarious the first time I did it.
Each pitch seems like it's about 15 to 20 minutes on the show, unedited, raw. How long is one group of people in there and facing you guys?
Yeah, 30 to 45 minutes. So it's generally max of about 45 minutes, but you don't know anything before they walk in the room. You don't know their names. You don't know you don't know financials. You don't know anything. Then they walk in, they give their thing, you ask questions. But yes, it is basically 30, maybe 45 minutes of 5 people trying to figure out and ask questions to see, should we invest in this company or not?
Yeah, that is so cool. And is the dun 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 dun? That's not playing, I assume, right? That's all in the editing.
No, it's not playing. It's edited in, but there you can still feel because you've seen it so much, like the craziest part is like we watch it on TV and we're like, that's not. These are real lives. Like you are watching people come in, and if they get a deal, like potentially changed and made their entire life, and if they don't, there's real tears, there's real sadness, and these are very, very real things. So at one point, it's kind of like a game show, but on the other side, it is very much real life.
And there's also the aspect of you battling with each other, the Sharks.
Yeah.
That's when it gets really dicey. I know you can't spoil anything, but that had to have been a curveball if and when that happens.
Oh, it's fun, man. It's fun. And they're a good group too. Like it was a lot of fun. Like you could think that you're going in there and they're going to be like, hey, we've been here for 17 years. This new guy's not going to, but they wanted the jokes. They wanted to banter back and forth. They wanted to partner. They wanted to do all these things. It was a great environment, and it's hot and heavy. I mean, you film 10 in one day. I mean, you're there from like, I think we started shooting at like 9 a.m. and you're done at probably about 7 p.m. But you just 45 minutes, then you get like a 10, 15-minute break and you have to do some stuff in between, but then 45 more minutes, another pit. Like it is just rolling all day. It was a blast.
Wow. I didn't realize that's 10 in a row. I know Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and Price is Right, they stack their episodes, but 10 in a row, you must be gassed.
Yeah, 10 pitches back to back to back with a little lunch break in the middle. But the funny thing is I wasn't gassed at all. I was like energetic and excited, like because you never know. That 10th pitch may be some incredible thing coming through the door that could be the next Scrub Daddy or Ring Doorbell. You don't know.
Yeah, that's so cool. Last thing, I'm a Roback guy. I'm going to send you some Roback, whatever you want. But the first time that I met you, I remember you walked in the PMT doors and you said you were trying to break 100 on the golf course. This is like 3 or 4 years ago. Please tell me that benchmark has improved and how much. Where are you at right now?
I have broke 100. I have broke 90 probably 3 times. I've broke 93 times. 87 is my current best round, but it is not consistent by any means. I'm still plus 100 multiple times, but I am. As long as the weather holds off, I'm supposed to be playing Erin Hills this weekend, which I'm looking forward to because I love playing out there. So we'll see. I have found this. I am significantly better as a golfer when I walk. Significantly. I think it's because I don't want to chase my ball all over, so I spend a lot more time thinking about my shots. But we did the other day here at our local course, we went out at 5 a.m. and we did the 5:08 tee time walk, the whole thing, and I shot very well there, so I was pleased. But I'm a walker. Get my steps in, get my workout in, and also take better shots. So I'll let you know how Erin Hills goes.
Yeah,
but
please do.
If I keep it sub 100 at Erin Hills, I'll be happy.
That's impressive. Yeah, I had my round of the year, my best round, 81 at Bethpage Red, and I walked last week. But I can't. I live 81. In Miami. I can't walk.
That's good.
I can't walk. It's too hot here.
Yeah. No, dude, it's sweaty. That is tough. Yeah. Down, like when I go down to Houston, I can't walk down there. No chance.
Yeah, there's a pop-up bagels opening here in Brickell, by the way.
Oh, yeah. You let me know. We'll get you in there. Yeah. Those are the best bagels in the world, brother.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's walking distance. But
we just opened, we just opened one near a house that we have, and it's dangerous. You can't have it too close to your house because I'm going to go every single day.
Well, it is going to be close to my house, so maybe we'll plan a pop-up bagels and round the golf together one time when we're in the same city. But JJ, I really appreciate you taking the time. This was great advice. I think people will really appreciate what you had to say from a football perspective, broadcasting, and just life advice. So thank you so much, and hope to cross paths again soon.
Thank you, Jake. Good luck to you in everything that you do. I appreciate your effort, your enthusiasm, the way that you work, the way that you go about it, and your constant positive attitude. So never lose that, brother.
Thank you so much. Means a lot. Thank you one more time to JJ. I thought that was so much fun. I really hope you all enjoyed. I appreciate all of your feedback, positive, negative, neutral, whatever it may be. But I'm proud of the heater we've been on in terms of guest list so far with Boeheim, Gruden, JJ Watt. Of course, we let off with Adam Schefter. So many guests in between. And as football comes closer and closer, we're going to obviously try to get as many sports-wide guests, but football season is king. So we're going to try to get a lot of football guests. However, you may have heard it in the interview, John Rothstein coming next week. So get excited for that one. All right, let's finish up the show, this week's show, with our two recurring segments, Tip of the Cap of the Week and That's Wild of the Week. We give a big tip of the cap to the one, the only, the ESPN legend, Karl Ravech. I'm not here to criticize what happened, what didn't happen in terms of the layoffs a few weeks ago. Obviously, it's a very sensitive subject, and I'm not one to talk and yap into the mic about what went on. What I am here to say is that Karl Ravech was laid off, which is a fact, and then all of a sudden, he appears on our screens last Thursday night on ESPN to call Braves Nationals in the booth. So everyone's caught off guard and they're thinking, what happened? I thought he was part of that list of those unfortunate layoffs. But then the reports came out that Ravech was given the opportunity to work some summer dates, including next week's Yankees-Mariners game. And I'm so excited for this. He will be back on the call in Williamsport, Pennsylvania for the Little League World Series. Karl Ravech has been at ESPN for 33 years. And the fact that we get one more go-round of Karl Ravech in Williamsport with the emotions of those Little League All-Stars playing in front of the whole world, that is awesome. He easily could have just gone off into the sunset and no one would have blamed him. But the fact that he was offered the opportunity and took it, the fact that we get a little more Karl Ravech on ESPN is really cool. So I give him a huge tip of the cap for taking that route despite that awful career news for him going back on ESPN's broadcasts and doing that. So tip of the cap to Karl Ravech. He is an ESPN legend. He is an OG. He is absolutely fantastic, and I'm looking forward to tuning into him these next couple of weeks in these last few weeks of summer. So shout out to Karl Ravech. Okay, moving on to our final segment of the week. That's Wild. We've got a few for you. Let's start off in baseball. We had an exciting finish in a game last week highlighting the Minnesota Twins. Cody Clemens was the hero, and he hit an ultimate grand slam, which is a walk-off grand slam. It's what all the kids dream about. I dreamed about it. You did. We all try to do it in the video games. He did it in real life. That's really cool. Cody Clemens is now the second player in MLB history to record the following in 3 separate games. The ultimate grand slam, which happened last week, hitting 3 home runs in a game, and throwing a strikeout as a pitcher. I went back. It was 2023 in one of those garbage time games where they put in the position players because they don't want to burn any more of their bullpen guys. They lost to the Dodgers 13-4 May 1st of 2023. So 3 years ago. So throwing a strikeout, ultimate grand slam, and separately a 3 home run game. He's the second player in MLB history to do that. The only other, Babe Ruth. That's wild. Moving on to Heat news. Heat news tweeted, Jimmy Butler lost to the Heat in the 2013 playoffs with the Chicago Bulls. He would then join Miami 6 years later. Giannis lost to the Heat in the 2020 playoffs. He would join Miami 6 years later. Jimmy took the Heat to the finals. Can Giannis? That's wild. Next up, straight from the Detroit Tigers PR staff. The Tigers have been hot despite selling Skubal to the Los Angeles Dodgers. They tweeted, we've scored 8+ runs in 5 straight games for the first time since 1996 over the past week. Remarkably, their most recent 5-game span in 1996 of scoring 55 runs happened on the exact same dates in the calendar, July 28th through August 2nd. 55 runs, and 30 years later, 55 runs. That's wild. All right, final example for That's Wild. We have straight from the Washington Nationals Twitter account. This also having to do with the trade deadline. The Yankees traded for Luis Garcia. Hopefully some hitting help for the Yankees as they try to make a run at the playoffs and the American League East. In exchange, the Yanks sent out 4 players, including right-handed pitcher Jack Siebert, who's one of the Yankees' top prospects. So when the Nationals tweeted the trade news, it turns out they tagged Jack's official Instagram, and Jack slid into the Nationals' DMs 11 years ago saying, "Trade for this kid. He's going somewhere." I don't know who it was about because the post was unavailable, but folks, the fact that they opened their DMs to see that Jack has been locked into the Nationals since his time in middle school, only to trade for him when he's an adult and a professional baseball player, that is wild. That will do it for our show this week. Thank you again to JJ Watt for taking the time. John Rothstein coming next week. Really excited for that. So tweet at me any recommendations on who you want to see coming up with football season coming. But again, not locked into just football. It can be anybody. But this has been another episode of On the Call with Jake Marsh. See you next week, folks. My name is Jake Marsh.